This movie follows the spiritual reading received on October 6, 2025, and posted online shortly thereafter at worldwideweb.site2enlight.com/coming soon. We ask the question, what is the nature of the interstellar object 3I Atlas? Today, we are sharing reflections and the answer in an instructional card reading format where we will once again invoke the spiritual forces, explain the use of the 10 card spread, raise our example from the personal to the level of humanity, thus opening the reading to everyone, given the cosmic nature of our spiritual exploration, and we will demonstrate how one deck of cards, including a deck that you may have, may be used in a system of natural magic such as ours, which is adaptive of the Golden Dawn Magical Tarot's keyword and visual reflection intentions. We are using the open Rider-Waite Tarot deck in this comparative learning game, and perhaps will gain even more spiritual insight into 3i Atlas thereby. Please see the video information page for the front and back matter of the business and technical concerns. For the spiritual matters at hand, please note that we are independent of the authors, but we do love and appreciate them for the Golden Dawn Magical Tarot. It's the deck I use, so I'm going to use it here. Check them out, support the art, support the adepts, and you will be supporting the poem movies and our campaign to include Golden Dawn magical readings and videos like this as we continue to help build and dream a world of truth. Most importantly, we hope you realize inspiration in exploring the trove of mystical knowledge available for us all, such as demonstrated in this open spiritual reading. Open mind, open heart, open to receiving the wonder of it all. Now grab your decks and play along as we sing this song, Spiritual Reading with a Deck, the 3I. Hello, beautiful humans. Bluebird Poet here. Today, we are sharing an open spiritual reading on the topic of the nature of the interstellar object 3I Atlas. We note at the start an assumption that at the time of this reading, received first between October 6th and 7th of 2025, we are assuming many people should be familiar with this object. As such, we'll limit the explicit recaps of what is known and speculated on by mid-October 2025, and encourage you to check your feeds for additional background information you may need to satisfy your curiosity and bring yourself up to speed. For now, if you have no idea what a 3i Atlas is, we'll get you started here in limited recaps. And if you are already all over it in this moment, let us set the scene, and we shall all see what may be gleaned as we search between the realms for hidden knowledge. 3i Atlas was discovered in June 2025 and has been confirmed as the third interstellar object galactic visitor that humans have detected traveling through our local space, yet having originated from deep space. 3i Atlas, the 3I. It has arrived here from beyond, outside of the Milky Way galaxy, visiting the Sol system from a place deep in outer space. So far, in the public disclosures, the data suggests that the 3I may be characterized in our experience as a comet, and that it looks like what we might observe in comets and asteroids, except it doesn't come from anywhere near our system. It comes from the void. Additionally, 3i Atlas has exhibited some peculiar behaviors compared to known comets, exotic behaviors in our experience. To me, the 3I is quite interesting, especially as it brings the weird. For example, we may plausibly explain some of the early data on 3i Atlas as indicative of what we would expect to see were we observing high technology, industrial processes. So weird, in fact, we've been inspired towards this open spiritual reading. Let us prepare. We shall see, learn, and grow, and in the meantime, whatever we think we know, we shall remain free and openly consider all possibilities, including stretch the mind thought exercises, such as What will humanity do if it surmises that 3I Atlas turns out to be more than just a comet? Some data infer alien technology, and technically, we have mathematically a probability of this hypothesis being correct that is non zero. So why not? We do not know as of mid October 2025 exactly what 3I Atlas is, and we are looking forward to clarification as we learn more. And in entertaining our imaginations while we analyze the data, we have, and while we look forward to the collection and dissemination of information we don't have, of stuff to come, such as higher resolution pictures, waving at you, NASA, China Space Agency, European Space Agency, UAE, whether the 3I is just a special comet, a spaceship, or maybe a hybrid comet spaceship, we remind ourselves at the start of this spiritual reflection as we settle into our spiritual mindsets. We remind ourselves, we remember to be open. Open mind, open heart, open spirit, open to the spirit and the wonder of it all. We are embracing the wonder and discovery to come. We proceed to examine 3I Atlas utilizing techniques aside the material, technological kind. Here, the tool for this spiritual reading is the human mind, and this open spiritual reading is all about what we find when we look inside, focusing our innate human spiritual intelligence with intuition as our guide. We are adapting techniques from the Human Spiritual Toolkit to see what 3I Atlas brings to us in spiritual reflection, and we may contribute this knowledge to the databases of technical knowledge as more physical observations are made and we gain a fuller, deeper understanding of 3I Atlas as it cruises through the soul system. The wisdom of the crowd may also be seen, as the intention of this open spiritual reading is to create a space for all people to read along, and as the spirit moves, provide shared reflections, maybe sing a song, as we carry on in gaining spiritual insight into the nature of the interstellar object we call 3I Atlas, the 3I. Shout out to humans all over the world as we pull from the cross cultural mix of practices and traditions of divination. And in this case, in this game, we are tapping into card reading. On this side, a tarot card reading, and on your side, the card reading practice used for divination in your tradition. So grab your decks, and as the spirit moves, you share your reflections in the comments as we play through this spiritual reflection on 3I Atlas. The question: what is the nature of 3I Atlas? We're asking to receive spiritual knowledge and practical insight with this question: what is the nature of 3I Atlas? Please write the question down and let's see what may be found. We are using a spread of 10 cards starting from a clean slate in a relaxed meditative state as we begin exploring, tapping into a powerful universal human trait. I may not see your face. I don't know where you are. I don't know your name. But I do know, given your DNA has produced the beautiful human you, that you are no name and by a frame. You are a biological machine with a quantum computing brain. As the spiritual intersects with the quantum, tapping into the field, as above, so below, the seen and unseen, we thank the source of all, as we always have everything we need. A quantum computing brain with an open mind is all we need to look inside. This is a universal human spiritual truth. Now, from the outside, we take this ride together. Opening the spiritual reading, we remain reverent and respectful of the spiritual forces now invoked. But being humans all the same, let us simultaneously maintain an open tap into the spirit of the childlike state of playing a fun game. And the fun game is read along with the tarot. The game is read along with the tarot, bro, and do it how you like to flow. If you have a tarot card deck, as the cards here are revealed, use the card from your deck, especially for any visual reflections to be revealed. If you use another deck of cards, or tiles, stones, leaves, etc., pull the gem that matches the base tone shared here and follow your intuition in adaptation of this system. And if you do not have a card deck, and we cool with it, move to relax, go on, we with you, moving along. However you play. Look here, in this age of no Burger Kings, baby, the only thing you need to bring is you, perfect and imperfect as you are, as we are, one and the same. We running this thing. Say it. I am, man. I am all I need, including an amazing quantum computing human brain. Go on, game on. Spiritual reading. What is the nature of the interstellar visitor, the object 3I Atlas? I already see something coming. Potential confusion by my own hand. Well, we usually do the reading and then seek clarification, but I'm going to start out with some pre clarification. In my tradition, using this 10 card spread, the first card describes the nature of the question to give us insight into the question itself, the overall tone of the matter at hand. What are we settling into? Discover the nature of the situation. So I just saw what I did. We asked the question, what is the nature of 3I Atlas? And then in the first card, we start with the nature of the question itself. See that? What is the nature of the question of the nature of the nature of 3I? Nature of the nature of the nature. All is well. All is as we have channeled. The nature of the nature, and in understanding these natures in natures, the 3I is already blowing the mind up before we even get to the cards. The nature of the 3I is, perhaps, the matter itself. Card 1, the nature of the question. Let us flip card 1, the 3 of Cups, abundance. 3 Cups, abundance. The nature of this question is the 3 of Cups. So we start in the Suite of Cups, symbolizing the power and pleasant creativity and form building, especially by great feminine power. In Cups, generally, we are dealing with the energy of formation, birth, beauty, and growth. Here, we start with the 3 in this Suite of Cups, like the 3I. Our imagery is of a cup high in the spiritual realms, overflowing with water into 2 cups below, which likewise overflow, and furthermore, we see this water from the spiritual realm overflowing into the physical realm. The source of the water is a lotus plant held up high by a feminine hand, which is lifting the plant into the spiritual lands above the cups so that the flowers may pour their water, water flowing from a lotus flower-headed hose into 3 cups. All cups are overflowing. The beauty and power of 3, 6, 9, 12 levels. 3. Abundance is the guarantee. The painting shows that as the water from the divine realm flows into the situation of 3I Atlas, the spiritual natures are indicated by the water from the second cup overflowing into the material world over a symbol for magic, and especially of water overflowing from the third cup into the material plane over a yin-yang symbol. A magic portal to the left, a yin-yang portal to the right. We are receiving thus an abundance of water, the magical ingredient of life on our water planet, and water of abundant memory, of abundant remembering, of creating, bringing balance, providing for harmony, the yin-yang, the 69, the loving water as it washes away what needs to go and washes in life, love, happiness, in abundance. In this 3I Atlas game, then, we consider this beautiful human player, you and I, as preached in an episode of the original Star Trek, may be seen from an alien's frame as walking, talking, ugly bags, ugly sacks of mostly water, ugly bags of water. But cups is not ugliness. cups bring beauty and love, and it is from love and in love which we, human game players, all of us, start out as cute little loving babies from a scientific frame, cute little tiny biological machines with developing quantum computing brains and facts. When humans emerge from the womb, we are physiologically 75% water. A cute little beautiful baby sack of water. Thus, we begin this spiritual exploration of Three Eye Atlas considering abundance, the plenty signified in the spirit of the water as it overflows. Water, especially the energy of water, enabling the magic creative force of life. Yin Yang, the love of water. Water bringing balance, perhaps to wash some things away, while watering the new, leading to abundant growth and assured pleasure. I do feel card one here is of a double nature. The nature of this question itself directly reveals aspects of the nature of Three Eye Atlas. Card one, Three of Cups, abundance, to be developed, and on we go. In reflection, well, it is interesting to note that initial observations of Three Eye Atlas, primarily with the deep space terrestrial and outer space telescopes like Chile on the ground and Hubble and James Webb in space, all with instruments that enable wideband spectroscopic analyses, in our initial views, very little water, or really ice, as we would expect the surface to be frozen on a rock with no atmosphere that far from the sun. The lack of water was noted as a point of differentiation between Three Eye Atlas and what we have seen with many comets. As the 3i got a little closer and we took updated, more precise measurements, the data changed. In fact, it was discovered in round 2 that 3i Atlas, which had no water in round 1, now has what looks like a lot of water. And even though the object was still far enough away from the sun where the water check is essentially checking for ice, frozen H2O on a frozen rock approaching from the outer edges of the solar system, in the follow up ice checks, we confirmed the presence of water. Curiously, as we inferred, ice must be in the composition of the comet's regolith. What we actually saw, while the object was still far enough out from the sun where we expect any water should be frozen, we are observing, according to the latest, water having suddenly been turned on, skip the freeze, and just plume on into space. Gamers, do check the feeds. Spitting facts. Upon the detection of H2O, the scientists put together some models to predict how much water. And fortunately, they broke the math down for us lay people, in analogy, what the latest data show in terms of the estimated amount of water visually. Picture a fire hydrant on the surface of 3i Atlas, hose attached, valve wide open, turning it on, and now we see water is, quote, spewing, unquote, from the fire hose into the sea of cosmic space in the solar system. We do digress. This is a bit of a rehash. But in the Three of Cups, the water imagery is clear. The cups are overflowing. By reflection in this beginning, 3i Atlas is most definitely about water, magic, love. The nature of this question and double meaning towards the very nature of 3i Atlas itself is the Three of Cups, abundance. Pause button, card 1, Three of Cups. Play button, cards 2 and 3. This is what you can do as we go through this reading. Pause and take a look at your own cards. In my tradition of personal readings, cards 2 and 3 give insight into the subconscious forces. Thus, in the context of a personal reading, this would be the hidden, the undetected forces at play in the situation. People, events, things in the background that we may not be aware of. These forces are certainly influencing the matter at hand. So, in this open reading, let us take cards 2 and 3 openly likewise to help us gain insight into happenings in the background, perhaps on Earth, in the cosmos, in the history of 3i Atlas. The spiritual forces at play here are out of sight. It's like, yo mama already told my daddy, and we don't know what they're going to do about it. But the tarot is telling us that they definitely will be doing something about it. We just don't know what they are going to do. So we look into the subconscious forces. Cards 2 and 3, the subconscious forces, show us the hidden factors for our consideration in this spiritual reading. Card 2, key number 16, the Tower. Let us be aware and reflect on unseen forces portending great battles, strife, war, discord. The Tower. The imagery here, the tower in the card from my deck, is described as the mighty tower with its top being blasted off by the lightning bolt of Mars. And that is what is wondrously painted. The roof of the tower is being blasted off. People are being blasted out of the tower, and we all fall down. There is the tree of life, and there is the tree of evil, impure spiritual forces. The tower confirms there is a battle in the background. In personal readings with the tower, the card is indicating not only the real battles in life, but as a card of the major arcana, the tower indicates that catastrophes in the day-to-day are likewise projections of the spiritual battle inside. We usually find we are dealing with issues that portend great shifts. Players raise this up. In a personal reading, this is a serious major arcana higher forces at play card beyond the person. And in my tradition, we do take the tower with deep consideration. You know, get your ass ready because the shit show is coming. In this open spiritual reading, in the context of exploring the nature of an object originating from the depths of the cosmos, let us reflect on the tower, indicating that we are considering greater battles, cosmic battles, spiritual battles, perhaps the ultimate spiritual battle, perhaps battles on the ground, on earth, the subconscious, the hidden beyond us, but definitely affecting us all on a higher level, imploring us to raise our conscientiousness, to be aware, to be mindful that in the background, beyond us, we shall be sensitive and ready for destruction, war, the downfall, whatever these powerful forces at play may bring. Battles in the cosmos, battles in the soul system, including here on earth. The tower portends the potent impact of unseen forces beyond our control, driving disruption in our spiritual and material lives. The Tower. Card 3 is Judgment. Key number 20, Judgment Reversed. Okay, card players, continuing to be aware of the subconscious forces, we have Judgment Reversed. And in reversing the key word, we channeled bad judgment, or maybe being judged, but the final judgment is yet to come. Judgment reverse. What does this mean to you? And number 20, for the numerologist, major arcana higher forces at play, with judgment reversed, indicating that the matters at hand are undecided. What is the insight on the number 20? With reversed judgment, we have at play, perhaps not standing in judgment in the moment, but about to be judged. Perhaps forces blocking initiation or conclusion of the judgment. Judgment reversed, and at the highest spiritual level, with judgment reversed, we read not the first awareness of the divine in judgment. What we read here is the last awareness of the divine is yet undecided, or something like that. And keep in mind, judgment reversed is the tempering of judgment, yet and still we have drawn this card. We are in the realm of the hidden forces of judgment, reversed, and in fact, some upside down judgment. Reflections on the subconscious forces. Considering cards 2 and 3, the subconscious forces, we see the tower, the spiritual battle, and reversed judgment, with a reflection that the outcome of the battle, the wars we are aware of, and crucially, the warring we know nothing of, the outcomes of these battles, spiritual, material, are yet to be determined, but we are already in judgment. Cards 2 and 3, the subconscious forces. Now we have cards 4 and 5 flipping, haha, from the subconscious to the conscious aspects. As your guide in this reading towards understanding, we'll start again from what these cards would mean in a personal reading and extend that outwards for this open reading, which is to relate. In a personal reading, these cards speak almost in a literal way about consciousness, which is what is going on in your head and or literally things happening in the moment, the forces at play in the environment, in the situation. We see it, we're aware of it, but what do we see that we should give more of our attention to? Well, the conscious forces. As we did with cards 2 and 3, we'll adapt in context from the personal reading level to the open and higher level cosmic nature of this reading. We are reflecting on cards 4 and 5 being conscious forces of interest in the context of 3i Atlas for insight into things happening in space and on Earth in the current environment. Again, that we may do well to give some focused attention. Cards 4 and 5, the conscious forces. Card 4, key number 14, temperance. The imagery. A great feminine angel standing on earth and water as she's mixing water and fire. We see a volcano erupting. We see the sun, and we are realizing, perhaps witnessing, as symbolized, a combination of forces, the uniting of elements leading to realization. Temperance encourages us to be aware of forces delivering trials and temptations for the sake of creating unity and for the sake of bringing a sense of balance. And in a literal sense, keep the temperance. Be level headed, be open minded, and willing to consider all possibilities. Just be cool with it. To find the mix that creates and maintains balance. Temperance, the tempering of opposites. So, what I'm saying is, it might be a spaceship, but it probably is a comet. And whatever it is, we have an opportunity to expand our knowledge of the cosmos, and the tarot advises keeping a level head as our knowledge and understanding increase. Next, in the conscious forces, card 5, 8, strength reversed. My key word reversal is weakness. While this might be literal weakness as the reverse of strength, the feel here is more like strength arrested, with the visual imagery being that the inner lion has not been arrested. The strength is upside down. In strength reverse, we have not a just and proper command of power, but not enough power. And depending on the overall dignity, strength reversed may indicate the abuse of power. Strength reverse also indicates that there may be a lack of fortitude to deal with what is to come. So courage up, readers. And in spiritual reflection, in light of card 3, judgment reversed as seen below, let us think of strength reverse when we are not taming the inner lion and we are being judged therefore and thereby. Perhaps it is best to let the inner lion go and then give in, as in, there is strength in surrendering. We reflect on the conscious forces. We have received temperance and strength reversed. So let us be aware in the current environment on the spiritual and material levels in this reading of 3i Atlas. Let us maintain conscious awareness of the literal elements and compounds represented in these cards: water, earth, fire, gold, volcanic fumes, and emissions from 3i Atlas, such as have been observed, including water, nickel, carbon compounds, cyanide, light, heat, energy. All of the literal chemicals, compounds, and energy being dispelled by 3i Atlas during its cruise through the Milky Way, and for the people of Earth, particularly whatever is being sublimated, burned off, or otherwise ejected into the soul system. And especially now, as the object is between its Mars flyby on the path towards its closest approach to soul, as this reading unfolds, we expect more matter, more energy to be mixed in. On the conscious level, let us pay attention to the mix and mixing of 3i Atlas material in our system. And with strength reversed, where we observe a lack of fortitude in the matters of 3i Atlas, let the lack be fully considered. We may be able to tame the lion, or we may decide to finally unleash it. It is also prescient that in the conscious forces of strength reversed, we are reminded to give extra attention to abuses of power. And let us be inspired, as it may be on the spiritual level, that we discover when we surrender, we shall understand it all. For this open reading, I look forward to observations and clarification by your thoughts as we continue with the wider reflection. The first 5 cards thus set the context as we explore the nature of 3i Atlas. Now we move into the increasingly mystical, the thing I love about tarot cards. They do. They always get me. I'm like, damn, that is true. And I'm like, dang, this is spiritual, mystical, and magical. What? The Divination. Cards 6 and 7 give us insight into the past so that we may move forward with wisdom. Cards 8 and 9 will show us likewise likely outcomes given our current path in the current state. Card 10 is when we seek practical advice and actions which may lead us towards or away from the likely outcomes and help us understand not only what 3i Atlas might reveal as we learn, but perhaps more personally, practical spiritual exercises and material activities that we in the macro as humanity, in the micro as co-creators and readers and game players, actions for us to personally consider undertaking in our quest to gain a greater understanding of this interstellar visitor, a spiritual understanding of 3i Atlas, and perhaps a greater, more open understanding of humanity and ourselves. Past outcomes. In the past, card 6, 2 of Pentacles, Harmonious Change reversed, and card 7, Key 6, the Lovers. Cards 6 and 7 give us insight into past outcomes. So in this open reading, let us consider what has happened with 3i Atlas in the past, perhaps on its way into our galaxy, and then through the ecliptic plane of our solar system, long before since we have discovered it. And we look to past outcomes such that the understanding gained may inform us and provide wisdom as we look to the future. Starting in the past, card 6, 2 of Pentacles, Harmonious Change reversed. With the 2 of Pentacles, we're always dealing with changes and fluctuations, for good and evil, for better and worse, for more or less, in the material plane. Here we have drawn this card reversed. What we see in the past is disharmonious change. It's more evil with a capital E versus the good. We see in the past uncomfortable changes. And let's note, assuming the interstellar interplanetary visiting object is a space rock, it may have broken off or otherwise been dislodged from a larger planetary body. And in disharmonious change, we glean that 3i Atlas has encountered dramatic changes through its journey, including some dramatic changes that we are already seeing in the soul system. And in the past, we have card 7, Key 6, the Lovers. So again, in the context of the interstellar cosmic nature of 3i Atlas, we have another major arcana card in the spread, with the higher force at play here being love. With the Lovers, we know from the past that in 3i Atlas we are considering the joining of 2 great contending forces. The Lovers represent a fusion of personality with higher self, divine love. And this fusion brings freedom through unity. It brings the power of love, absolute action, and mediumistic inspiration. I'll note that in the visual, we have the goddesses of love, one chained to the rock of material bondage, one yielding the sword and the shield and the absolute power of love as if she is about to slay the 3-headed sea monster from on high, an action of tough love from a higher power for the greater good and greater love of all. Our reflection, as we saw in the conscious forces, a spiritual battle with the outcome to be determined, we have in cards 6 and 7 the past of 3i Atlas, marked by energy which may bring unpleasant change but also inspires unity, power, action, greater love, including some tough love needed for the greater good. Wisdom from the past. Now, likely outcomes. Card 8, Key 7, the Chariot. Card 9, the Ten of Swords, Ruin. 10 Swords, Ruin. In the future, the Divination. Okay, in my tradition, the tarot is not fortune telling. The divination is insight gaining. We are divining the likely outcomes based on the current path. That is, considering cards 1 through 7 in this open reading, we are divining likely outcomes for 3i Atlas, the solar system, Earth, humanity, including as a species, and for those participating in this reading at the personal levels. Without foretelling, we are divining the likely outcomes given the path that we are on. And in this open reading, we are focused on an object flying through space, so we are divining as well the likely outcomes given the current path, the trajectory, and the speed of 3i Atlas. This is my tradition. We look at what's likely to happen given the current path and reserve our power to play towards creating the likely outcomes or doing something else to create different outcomes. It's the power of divination. We see what's coming, which way you gonna go. With our power rightfully reserved, we peer into the void to divine the likely outcomes in the current state. Card 8, Key 7, the Chariot. Well, we have the spiritual battle in card 2, and here in card 8 we get the Chariot, the Conqueror, the realization of visions of unseen energies. And related to the nature of this situation, card 1, the Three of Overflowing Cups, we have here in key 7 with the Chariot, the descent of the spirit into the world of manifestation. We are receiving the energy and the action of realization, the confidence of the prepared warrior, and looking at reversed strength below, which may signal a lack of courage. In the Chariot, we are confident that the conqueror is courageous and will triumph. Obstacles will be overcome, and success is assured. And card 9. Dang! Whoa! The Ten of Swords. Ruin! Damn! This card, the way I usually get it, it is what it is. It is what it says it is. Ruin. Death, defeat, disruption. By the symbolism, 10 swords, we generally would not look forward to a ruinous future. But this card portends, related to the disharmonious change of the reversed Two of Pentacles below and the battle in the tower above, the wars we face. The ruin here suggests the undisciplined use of force in war. Perhaps. Are we at war with 3i Atlas? And with the Ten of Swords screaming, spoiler alert, plans figuratively and literally, truly, completely ruined. Yep, Ten of Swords. 10 swords in your face. Like the tower, still all kinds of disruptions. 3i Atlas and some ruinous outcomes. Perhaps literally in the soul system, it might get so close to the sun that it breaks up into pieces that burn it up and burn it up as it's blasted by radiation from soul. But ruin, we'll have to consider this widely. Ruin. Given this card and how 3i Atlas is flying fast, hard, but by measure it appears to be navigating intelligently through the system, perhaps we shall see our expectations of what will should happen with 3i completely defy what we think we will see. And just like it was glowing red and then it was glowing green, or green, red, green color change, and it outgassed nickel without much iron, it was waterless and then it was a fire hose. We thought we would have by now, at the time of this reading, the highest resolution images yet given the space assets all around Mars, on Mars, as the 3i flew by the red planet. Well, we don't have that yet. What we have is NASA has been shut down due to a lapse of government funding. The schedule for the processing and release of the latest, highest resolution data obtained to date, the best data from the high res satellite. The expectation that we would have this data on the date of this reading has been ruined. Let us also reflect here on the Ten of Swords as one of the most negative cards in the deck. So perhaps ruin here in a positive sense might see us detecting unusual negative energy patterns, negative electronic magnetic fields and flows, negative polarization, ruin as in by the what we expect may not be what we observe. Nonetheless, this does not ruin the fun of waiting and anticipation. It does not dampen our enthusiasm to find out, to realize the thrill of discoveries to come. Yet our discoveries in the future are likely to ruin conventional thinking and theories and whatnot. And with the conventional invalidated, we will be in the space of ruining our old thinking so that we may advance our knowledge and understanding of the cosmos thanks to Three Eye Atlas. Let us take 3 deep Buddha belly breaths as all of that sinks in. And honestly, were this a personal reading, I would say to myself, the tower, the chariot, ruin. The universe is telling you, baby, let's get this act together. Fortunately, at the cosmic level, with these forces beyond our control, these higher forces, what I am telling myself is be cool, expect the battle, stand up when fortitude and courage must be summoned, take control of the chariot, and see what happens. We have divined the likely outcomes. Now we close with card number 10, practical advice, reflections. The divinatory practice in use here is intended to be completed with a consideration of practical advice. We seek, therefore, spiritual guidance, as this is a spiritual reading, and from that guidance, in a personal reading, we translate, we break it down, and just think about the active magic to bring the spiritual into the physical, identifying things that we probably should or not do. Whatever it is we need to do, reflect on the spiritual reading. Now get your ass up and tell yourself, self, what you gonna do about it? Some practical advice. We see, we believe, we dream and pray. Mantras while we do what must be done each day. Relax and witness as the magic unfolds and we experience the whole of what we have co-created. So again, readers, for this open reading, the wisdom of the crowd of humanity as we translate this personal practice to apply towards our understanding of the cosmic visitor. Card 10, practical advice, the resolution, key 17, the star reversed. Three Eye Atlas is something else. The energy of the star is normally hope and faith. Help from the goddess when you least expect it. But here we are reversed. Maybe there is no help from the goddess. We're looking at the star reverse. We are contemplating deceived hope. Self quote, loss, hope, criminalized and recreational dope. End self quote. And the imagery is upside down. The nude goddess turned around. An upside down 17, an upside down 7-pointed star, and 7 upside down smaller stars. The tree of life turned upside down. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil turned upside down. So, confession. I definitely, probably should have meditated on the upside down star a long time ago. The right side up star, super positive advice. The upside down star as advice, I'm working on my understanding, starting here and now. Reflecting on the visuals, this is a stunning painting. Upside down, we have a nude goddess drawing water from above through conduits, the vases, which become vehicles of transformation, and water, which is originating from pools of crystal in the river above, is transformed into energy that the star is directing into the 7-pointed star, which is the sun. The seven smaller stars in this reflection represent the multiple other notable planetary bodies that are converging on the sun in synchronicity with 3i Atlas, perhaps. And note that the goddess star is crowned herself with a seven pointed star. Furthermore, in the painting, there is an energy field extending from the shore of the lake above down between the two streams of water. And as the water enters the vases, the energy field looks like it's expanding around the vases and down further to encompass the sun star. We also note that the seven smaller stars are outside of the energy field of the star below, and we note that the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil are rooted in the lake, drawing from the same water that the star is bringing to the sun. Perhaps the star, the 3i, is bringing energy to protect the sun from intruding celestial objects and forces. Let it be noted that we are aware of these multiple objects. 3i is not the only one. Take a look. You'll see it's quite interesting. It's a lot of stuff going in the sun and coming out of it. I suppose, in a personal reading, my advice to myself, whatever the question is, with the star turned upside down, I would say, meditate, clear your mind, and bring this quiet from the inside, deep breath to the outside. Stay grounded, and while we should always wish upon a star, perhaps in consideration of the current situation being where we are, recognize the goddess is looking away from you, bro, upside down. And yeah, that wish, it missed the star. But brother man, there is always hope. Peer deeply into the cards. There may be clues to see revealed in the painted imagery, elements, movement, colors, more. Meditate for psychic impressions. Core when seeing is believing. There is always hope. The star is a goddess of the most hopeful kind, for her energy assures our spiritual and material development. Turned upside down, this energy is diminished. Reversed hope, lost hope. Is the opposite of hope despair? The goddess is looking elsewhere. Bless us all. Looking up from Mother Earth. When the star is behind Sol, reversed, ecliptically aligned, we see the sun in the sky. We know there the 3i hides out of sight in blinding sunlight. Exotic energies will be mixed about the soul system. He is receiving, she is receiving disharmonious change. While we witness cosmic battles, earthly battles, spiritual battles, human cowardice and suffering thereby, floods, eruptions, quakes, comets and asteroids flying through the sky, the energy rising, the frequencies resonate, the spiritual battle. The forces are not being contained. There is strength in surrendering. Witness passing judgment. The star reversed abundance. Abundant energies, change, battles, more. We shall not remain as we were before. Energetic penetration of earthling sensitivity. Witness the 3i fly by. Water, magic, and mystery. hidden cowards, liars, abusers of powers, blasted by the god of war from their ivory towers. Universal consciousness, conscious awareness, compelled to grow, inhabit your goddess like body, see courage flow, ride the chariot, bite the ruin, fight day and night. Lovers defeat artificial evil by the sword to be judged with divine love and light. The opposite of hope, lost hope, is not without the hope. Hope is in lost hope. Reversed hope contains hope. It is still hope. Upright or upside down in the star, we always have hope. So, in a personal reading, I would say self, the fact that the wish missed the star in the past. Now get your ass up and try again. Bring wisdom from the past. And baby, just have faith. Have faith that if you keep trying hard enough, there is always hope. And you got to believe that this time, no matter how much time it takes, is all going to work out. So that's the example in this tradition, standard spiritual model, spiritual reading. But again, the magic begins when we do what we can do. That is to say, in personal readings, we are grounded in being practical. What might we do? Well, since I am here with you and we are in the soul system entertaining an interstellar visitor, we take the personal example, and again, cosmic object, cosmic spiritual perspective, yet we recognize it in our lives here on earth, the collective humanity. Let us reflect on the practical and perhaps actionable implications of the star reversed. The star reversed, well, starts with the star. And it was, in June, a dude was looking at some stars, telescopes, pictures, and he saw it. His quantum computing brain, his well developed, self programmed personal quantum computer, saw it and calculated, did some math, leading to inspiration and opportunities for humanity to advance our knowledge of the cosmos. He saw the shooting star, and here we are, looking within our home system, witnessing the shooting star aligned and cruising along our solar ecliptic plane. Coincidentally, uh, did it aim for the ecliptic plane? Because it sure is flying right through the path of the planets. And the shooting star will be in perihelion with our star, Sol, on its way from Mars to the Sun. The star reversed practically. Maybe we will see 3i Atlas turn upside down. It might turn around. Theories are out there. Solar activity is up, and as the 3i has approached and is getting closer to the Sun, we have observed an increase in solar spots and a newly formed large coronal hole noted for occurring equatorially. And the Sun has been blasting us and the comet with some effective energy in the days of this reading. Practically, we should be interested in monitoring the coming solar activity as 3i Atlas approaches from this side of the Sun, which we see, and as it moves behind the Sun from our view on the ecliptic plane, hiding from our sight, theme, the star upside down, blocking rather than showing the way, the energy of an interstellar object, the ejecta, temperance above, mixing, the energy of soul mixing with the energy of the object. Okay, practically, we expect 3i Atlas or any other object, such as the major 17 noteworthy comets, simultaneously converging aside to 3i in this unfolding cosmic dance around Sol. We expect the objects to heat up, to get brighter. By that, by getting closer to the Sun. And they are also reflecting more sunlight. 3i Atlas is reflecting more sunlight as it visits Sol. Perhaps 3i Atlas, which in the past entertained us with a brightness curve that qualifies as remarkable by the known astronomical data. Once again, players, check the feeds. For example, based on the speed and trajectory, the first models predicted expected levels of brightness 3i Atlas is flying in, getting brighter, and we calculate expected brightness. And when it should start up the curve. Well, 3i Atlas at first looked like it might be emitting its own light, and then it changed colors as it approached Mars, getting closer to the sun. It changed colors. It was getting brighter, and then it lit up like 10 times brighter than expected, and still going up from there. It's a very unusual and interesting object. But we have the star upside down. The closer 3i Atlas gets to the sun, the less we shall see through our space observing satellites and telescopes because, the cameras are literally blinded by the light. The sun upside down, 3i Atlas, from our view on Earth will be in an observational blind spot before it even goes behind the sun and continues on into the heart of the blind spot. From Earth, when we look at the sun each day, we know that the 3i Atlas is in the sky behind wherever the sun is in the sky. The anomalous, brightening, color changing 3i Atlas, the shooting star from so far away, is, just as it gets close, as we expect it will get to the sun, reaching perihelion, closest to the sun, and really even before it is actually behind the sun, the bright interstellar shooting star, the star turned upside down, is going dark. Practical observation. Picture a comet, the comic book comet, blazing hot, flying towards or away from the sun with all of that heat burning stuff off the surface. And so, as we typically observe, comets have tails. Our best initial views of the 3i from, like the Hubble and the James Webb and telescopes here on Earth, were curious because 3i Atlas did not have a tail. Then, interestingly, as it got closer, as we started discussing the fact that it didn't have a tail, we suddenly saw a tail. But it was a weird tail. The tail was not flowing behind the 3i like the comic book comet. Like most real comets, the tail of the 3i was streaming towards the sun in the direction that it was traveling, from the front of the 3i. That would certainly be the star turned upside down. But that was the past, and this is the practical of the star reversed. Now, in divining the future, the star turned upside down, ruining what we thought we knew, a cometary tail in the front. We may explain this, stretch the current models, but this is possible without breaking convention. And here we have the star upside down. We would do well to step outside of the box and think less about assumptions and standard models, and based on what we see, consider a greater possibility. Now, of course, we do need to get the data, from like all of the space agencies. So I said, based on what we see, we can consider a greater possibility. Thought experiment. If you are a spaceship flying through space and need to slow down, you would flip the ship around, the shooting star upside down, so that now, rather than pushing you forward, your engines, the exhaust, which was propelling you, is now working against your momentum like a spaceship air brakes, exhaust in the direction of travel in a maneuver to slow the ship down. Temperance above. Practically, the 3i is likely a comet, albeit exotic and unusual. The lovers to the right, a goddess of love, is chained to the rock. Love is chained to the 3i, and the other lover yields her sword and shield, slaying the three-headed beast of conventional thinking, models, and beliefs, delivering the tough love we sometimes need to help us remember that true love, deep dive love, which binds the cosmos into one. This love is inspirational. Temperance, the lovers, three goddesses, the shooting star 3i itself, a naked goddess with a tail turned upside down. We are definitely increasing our spiritual knowledge and grounded information through our experience with this object. And with the star reversed, we step back, continuing to reflect as the star reversed, not wishing on a star, but using what you already have, using the resources that you already have. We also have here, in consideration of the overall spread, a majority of cards from the major arcana. In fact, with 7 out of 10, the tarot assures us that we are indeed dealing with higher forces, cosmic forces, spiritual forces, and even on the material plane, forces beyond our current influence. This is gods and goddesses level forces, the universe speaking to us from and of the source, truly cosmic, as it resonates throughout this reflection. And finally, the symbolism in the object as so called 3-eye atlas, the third interstellar object discovered by the Atlas telescope, the 3-eye, the third eye. In many human cultures and spiritual traditions, inclusive of many religions, the third eye symbolizes the pineal gland, an organ in human biological machine, inside of part of the human quantum computing brain. And in my tradition, from my ancestors all over the world, it is the third eye which provides the capability for humans to connect to the quantum field, to peer into the void, to tap into the higher forces, so as we learn from our ascended masters. So, all of these major arcana cards, on a practical basis, they dominate the spread. As the 3-eye continues to fascinate and inspire us, we may do well to practice techniques which activate the energy that opens the third eye. Let's all meditate on this, allowing our quantum computing brains to calculate a whole higher level of consciousness and understanding, or something like that. Heartfelt love. I hope you have enjoyed this open reflection, and as I myself seek edification and clarification on the cards as they are speaking, I invite you to share whatever reflections you have through this reading and beyond.